I'm Sharon Brown, and part of Indivisible, TennVa, League of Women Voters, Sullivan County Democrats. I am so proud to introduce the next speaker, Marat Moore. Marat was born in Johnson City. She worked as an underground miner in West Virginia and for the United Mine Workers of America as a journalist, photographer, and labor organizer in the historic 1989-90 Pittston strike. She led the organizing of hundreds of miners' wives and was a founding member with them of the Daughters of Mother Jones. Marat is known for her work advocating for mine safety and the rights of miners. She is the author of Women in the Mines, Stories of Life and Work, a collection of oral histories and documentary photographs of women miners across the U.S. She is active in the International Women Coal Miners Network, including England's Women Against Pit Closures. In 2023, the West Virginia Mine Wars Museum awarded her the Carter G. Woodson Truth Tellers Award for her documentary work over decades. Welcome Marat Moore, one of the smartest women I know.
Hey Sharon, one of my favorite activist buddies. All right, I'm so glad to follow the last speaker who talked about red bandanas. Yeah. We'll get there. I got a bunch of them for you. So what I'm talking about today is labor history. I just want to say that I'm bringing greetings from women coal miners across the United States and from the Women Against Pit Closures in England. 40 years after we got started, we're still tight with each other and we're still in the fight. My personal local fight, this is an aside, is about the takeover of our local media by what I feel is a private equity concern. We just lost the Jonesborough paper. I was working, the reason I've been at rallies, I've been working every week on long history pieces. All of a sudden, it's gone. Not only that, the editor, it's a labor issue. The guy who, kind of the hatchet man, he basically said, oh, hi, how you doing? We're taking the paper over and today's your last day of work. Did that with all of them. So all I'm saying is JC Press does not have my support. They thinned out all of our news media. I grew up around here. Anyway, that's a side story. All right, today we're going to call upon the spirit of Mother Jones. You know? All right, sorry, I have to do those. And I have a silly hat, okay? But this is what we do with women miners. We put on our stuff, right? We have fun, okay? I'll take it back off. All right. Anyway, Mother Jones was a radical immigrant, Irish immigrant, who organized thousands of immigrant coal miners and workers across, of course, coal miners, but many workers. She's also involved in the Mexican Revolution. She was a hellraiser and an agitator. She said, this nation was founded on agitation. Chattel slavery was abolished by it. God grant that agitation keeps up until the last chains are broken. And she said, a man in prison, I asked him why he happened to be there. And he said, I stole a pair of shoes. And she said, if you'd stolen a railroad, you'd be a U.S. Senator. In her 70s and 80s, Mother Jones walked through creeks, over mountains to meet secretly with workers, many of them coal miners. They laid down their tools on a word from her. That is why she was jailed repeatedly. She was court-martialed, and as you may know, she was called by a judge the most dangerous woman in America. But when she was in jail one time, well, actually more than once, she'd sneak out letters, okay? And they went viral in our language. And this is one of them. She said, "Let the nations of the world know that the great United States is now holding Mother Jones incommunicado in an underground cell surrounded by sewer rats, tin-horn soldiers, and other vermin." She fought private armies. Sound familiar? Yes. In her time, it was the Baldwin Phelps. When I was involved in strikes, the Pittston later, but also the 18 Massey strike in the mid-'80s, in Mingo County, where I worked in the mine, Mingo County, West Virginia, we saw the militarization of that community. They did it because they knew nobody was going to see it. We saw Army tanks being brought in to rural post offices that were bristling with surveillance material. And nobody could go to the post offices because there they were. We knew it was the wave of the future. And we know military occupation is nothing new in the labor movement. In the old days, nothing new in the new days. And now we've got it coming from the White House. Mother Jones knew the power of women. You know, she lived from, really, she did her work like 1890 through 1930. She started in her 60s. It's a good model for aging, okay? She worked until she was, died at 93. But she said she was 100 so she could have a birthday party. She always said she was older than she was. When she was 70, she said she was 80. When she was 80, she said she was 90. When she was 90, she said she was 100 and had a great birthday party. All right. So, she organized, what she said about women is she said, no nation has ever grown beyond its women. She organized miners' wives as well as women workers, okay? And miners' wives, she organized them into mop and broom brigades. He was talking about scabs or strikebreakers. Well, they were pouring in the mines. Workers had no rights at this point. That's why she and others were trying to organize the labor movement, organize unions, the United Mine Workers, and others, okay? And so these mop and broom brigades, they, like up to 1,000 women, would be bam, 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 and bang it. And they'd go to the mine portals where strikebreakers were going in, and the women scared them to death. And it worked, okay? So in the Pittston strike, we did this too. We didn't do mop and, brigades, but we did organize a lot of activist miners' wives. And the Pittston strike was based on mass civil disobedience. In many states now, it's a felony, okay? But back then, we could do it. Of course, the union got $40 million fines, but it started with a women's occupation. And when we all got together, the women, we were going to take over, occupy the headquarters in Lebanon, Virginia of the Pittston Company. In that building, also, unknown to us, in the back, were the offices of, get this word, Vance Security. They were the dumb thugs for Pittston, all right? And so we go in there, but the women, the wives said, we had 42, we numbered off, 1 to 42. No names because of retaliation. So we numbered off, right? We all remember our numbers forever. Our spokesman was a miner's wife named Edna Saul. She was daughter of Mother Jones, number 14. CNN came in that afternoon. CNN walks in, they have a photographer, cameraman and a reporter, and he goes up, who's your spokesman? And we're like, she is, and said, what is your name? And she said, I am the daughter of Mother Jones, number 14. And he turned off his mic, he made the guy quit filming, and he said, who is Mother Jones? So we had a history bite that went national. We were very happy about that. So anyway, so the red bandana. So the red bandana, my understanding about from the mine workers, how it started was Mother Jones knew about this because in 1921 there was the Battle of Blair Mountain. Have you heard about it?
Yes.
All right, Battle of Blair Mountain. Miners wore this as they marched south from Charleston to liberate their brothers in Mingo County from the heel of the private armies. And so it was and is a symbol of unity. It is resistance, but it's also solidarity. Because you have to have solidarity. You have to have broad solidarity. You know, maybe people you might not imagine you have common ground with. You can find common ground. You can. And so tying it on, and I've got 100 of these that will be given out if you want them, but tying them on, we tie ourselves together, okay? We tie ourselves together in the struggle, in the determination, and I just want to end with her most famous words, which you may know, and if you do, just join me. Pray for the dead, fight like hell for the living. Pray for the dead.
Fight like hell for the living. Pray for the dead. Fight like hell for the living. Pray for the dead.